Welcome to the lecture on Distance is Your Ally. We covered part of it in a previous lecture and talking about the living room. However, there's more ways to get distance than just for the ready stance. But let me sort of review what we were talking about in the ready stance. Basically, your living room is the distance between your opponent and yourself. You need it because the more distance there is, the more you can see, or let's say, the earlier you can see him coming at you or making a move. That gives you, the more distance you have, the more time you have to respond. Take brain time to see something, click up there and say, beat him over the head, or knock his legs out. Whatever it is, there's that transition time, and it's a lag. So the more warning you can get that he's coming, the more chance you have of getting out of the way or avoiding whatever they're going to be doing. So, as I mentioned, somebody comes up to you, or first off, never get too close to somebody yourself. When they start coming into your range, just sort of, hey, how you doing? Put your hand out. They're not gonna walk into the hand, but it tells them, stay there. All right, and the next thing you want to do is, hey, how you doing there? Just sort of drop back like you're lazy a little bit. And, keep shifting around, moving, sort of stepping like you're nervous or whatever. But get back until you got that distance where, if you have to hit them, this is your distance. So I know from here that I can catch them in the head. Now, I use the head in most all my practice. But this is an end game type target. Hitting in the head means that the higher up the body you go, the more deadly the strike is. Now, your goal is not to kill somebody, okay? But in the event you do need it, you're going to know how to do it because this is what you practiced. However, your goal should be just you want to disable your opponent. That means quickest way to disable somebody is you don't have to go for the head, but you can go for the collarbone. This is called a clavicle. You go here. If you can take out the clavicle, which takes only about 12 pounds of pressure with a hit, and it doesn't take much with this, you're going to disable him to the point he can't hold a weapon. Okay? Now, the next thing I find is a good target is the legs. Now, I'm not good at really doing lunges and getting low, but this is a good way. When you go down, you practice your lunges because taking out the legs is ideal. You take out the legs, they can't stand, see you later. This is all you have to do. So when you go in a lunge, you're going to go down low, and you go for the knees or shins. How many people can really build up their legs to where there's solid muscle? But you get them along the shin line, there's no muscle in there. It's all bone. Okay, so you go for the knees, right at the joint. Take the knee out. Head, and the arms, your risk is somebody has their arms down, you can't get in, now you got to come in under it. But if their arm is up, good shot. Hit low in the ribs. In the neck, a lot of nerves right around here. Hit them in the neck. That's good. But you start getting at the temple, center of the head, sort of like game over. You do one of these, a lot of nerves up here. We'll take them out. That you want to save for your worst enemy. Life-threatening situation. Then you go there. So, but the other thing, getting into distance, when people are moving towards you, and say you've decided it's going to be a confrontation, now he starts coming after you, or it's looking like he's going to move. You can do just a simple step back. You can move back. Remember how I showed you in the moving for stability? The same footing. You do the same thing as you're going back. Or you can close the distance. same way. And each time you can strike. Every time your foot hits the ground, you come in, strike, strike, strike. You're always ready. So going backwards is the same way. And practice it sideways. I mean, you can go, you know. One thing you don't want to do, unless you really have to, is cross your legs this way. You have no balance whatsoever. Slight breeze will blow you over. So keep your feet wide. And if another thing you can use, another thing you can use is like sword people do. You ever watch the people who are fencing, and they have a, I don't know exactly what they call the step, but it's sort of a, that's another way, fairly stable. Drag that back foot, come with the front foot. Again, sort of go out this way, bring the back foot in. Never cross your feet. Think of that. Don't start going, walking this way or walking this way. You might be able to get away with it if you're far enough. But if you get up close, somebody sees that, that's a good time to strike. When they're like this, they have very little power. But when they're like this, man, they're drawing all the power from the ground. They're like a rock. Watch out. Whatever I tell you not to do, watch, see if your opponent's doing it. Catch them off guard. So you need to think about how to keep the distance and maintain your living room, whether it's when you're meeting somebody or when you start to maneuver in combat. Two things. So you always have to be conscious of how you move, and if you practice it, pretty soon you don't have to worry about being conscious about it. You will move that way without even thinking about it. You can walk, talk, and chew gum. That's the point that where you want to reach. That's your goal, is being able to do these things without thinking. Your body is now moving, okay? All this gets you muscle memory. If you don't practice it, when you need it, it's not going to be there. You want these things to be able to come automatically, and that's muscle memory. So practice it, get good at it. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.